Good afternoon. It's May 10th, 2023, and today we just had a range day. A lot of back and forth, not a lot of good trades in here. So let's talk about it and get it done. So in the overnight, it looked like we were in this trend here, and it is possible that, okay, so that makes sense. So I was going to say it is possible the highs are up here. And you can see, I mean, the midline kind of works there. And there isn't really a whole lot of information to tell us that a break is coming, but I mean, I had the high right there. You can see the midline. I think this is right because that overshoot leads to the break, and look at how many more touches the midline gets. So I think that's it. So we have this news item, and then we spiked up into this range. And I don't think you want to take anything in here. It shoots higher, we get an overshoot, and prices ride that level of former resistance, and it acts as support, and then we continue higher before we sell off, and you do get a second entry right here, but it can't go higher, and then you get this double test. And you could even argue it's like a triple test, but I'm not crazy about that. I mean, this is tough. I mean, for someone at my skill level, I don't think you want to be taking that. Maybe it looks good to other people, but I just thought I'd mark it because it looks like we bounced off that level of support, and it's a good signal bar. So some people like that, and it went higher, and then it just fails and drops, and there's no way to get in on that. You do get a second entry here, but there's no setup. Come down here, make a new low from this channel, go sideways before prices just reverse for whatever reason. And we get a break and a move to a new high, and then prices reverse, but there's no way to get in on this. This kind of looks like a new high, but it's not. If it was, you could treat this as a failure. It's not a new high, so I don't think you can take that. But it is like a lower high off of this trend channel. But yeah, I don't think you can take it. Then you get a first entry, second entry. Second entry actually triggers here, so we're just not back to the trend line, but you might have had it drawn steeper. So if you had it drawn like that, and you can see that's probably how a lot of people had it drawn. So I might have to, I mean, the overshoot leads to a break. I marked this green. There's a lot of dojis in here, so I think I'm going to keep it. I do think this, the way I have it drawn is more valid because of this midline. And this kind of looks like a second entry, but it's also technically a failure, so I marked that one. And it's just like a lower high off the trend channel. And we keep selling off. You get an overshoot, and then we just go sideways. And actually, I mean, you might consider this one, but it's in no man's land. Yeah, I'm not going to mark that. So this is a second entry short, but after this overshoot, and it's going sideways, high or low right here, I don't think you want to take that. And yeah, that leads to a break. And I don't think, yeah, you don't get a, yeah, it's not off a trend line. And maybe this is the trend line. But you get this triple bottom right here. So when it breaks lower, technically you could look at that as a new low. And you get a first entry, failed second entry short off the EMA. You can see a lot of people like that one. And we come up here and you get a double test. I could see why people would go short. It looks like they trapped some people right there on that. But I mean, it's kind of like we have 4 inside bars or 3. These are all dojis, so you want to be careful there. Anyway, that's a new high. First entry, failed second entry long. That's the only high probability setup I marked today. Come down here, get a first entry, second entry that fails. Look at all that overlap. And I bet this is like what I saw yesterday. I bet, yeah, look at that. So this is exactly like the range that I drew yesterday. This bar started it. You get some inside bars and it just creates a measured move. And so you're in right into that midline right there. But when we pull back up here and you get this lower high, I think that's worth taking. It's like a double test. And then you get another test with a lower high. This one, I think now I'm going to delete that because of all this congestion. Technically, that's a failure, but let me go back to yesterday real quick. And so the range I had drawn yesterday was from this bar. After that, look at how many inside bars we have after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and almost 9. And so I drew this here, and that works out very well. The breakout to the high side fails. And so I've been seeing that lately, and it's just something to think about. So anyway, so yeah, we come up here, you get that failure, but this is all congestion, then it sells off, and we get this breakout to the low side, and you do get a first entry, second entry. So I mean, that's pretty. That's a high probability setup, I would say. But that's a problem. Is you already have a break right here. So yeah, I got to keep that green. But that looks pretty good. But there's clues that you're taking a chance. I also it's an engulfing bar, so people might be taking their profits after 4 ticks below this. So anyway, it reverses, huge steep rally that forms what I believe was a spike in channel. Come up here, first entry, second entry, but it's an inside bar. So when you get this high or low, maybe you take it, but this looks like a range. So you just want to be careful. Breaks out, test it once, test it a second time, and that forms the break of that spike in channel. And you come up here, make a new high, 2 legs up to a new high. And we got this second entry, but you're going right into that trend channel. I figured I'd mark it, but look, I mean, you only get, I think you get 4, might be a 4-tick failure, 59. Yeah, so that's a 4-tick failure. I figured I'd mark it, but it's after the break and move to a new high. So I thought maybe that would work out, but it didn't. So, yeah, you got to stick to these rules and draw your lines. So that's how I saw it today. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.